Welcome to the Gaia update for Uranus transiting into Taurus in 2018 until 2026. I'm Adrienne Elise. Well, we are having a big shift of energy in 2018, and this happens on May 15th. This is the day of May 15th is a new moon in Taurus, and it's the same day that Uranus transits into Taurus after having been in Aries since 2010. So this is a big shift of energy. Uranus, the bigger planets that move slow like this, are about generational change. And so when they shift signs, it means we're moving into a whole new phase. So let's talk about this. So Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. So the energy of the planet right now is speaking to the Aquarian age. It's speaking to trying to move into this new world, this new earth, this more spiritualized reality. Uranus represents information from above, flashes of insight and ancient wisdom being able to come through, and intuition in your life. It also is about awakening. The planet was discovered around the time of electricity was discovered, and so it has a lot of connotation with electricity, and we'll talk more about that. We're talking about, with Uranus and Taurus, the electricity of the earth, of the physical body, the electrical component. So it's a very interesting shift that we're going into right now. Uranus brings radical shifts. It's about generational change and revolution. And what was going on with Uranus and Aries for these last 8 years is that Uranus was bringing this shift of awakening and this revolution to our sense of self, who we are, our identity in Aries. So now we're moving into a new chapter. But 2018 is a transition year because Uranus moves into Taurus, but then retrogrades back into Aries in November, and then doesn't come back into Taurus again until March of 2019. So we're in this place of Uranus, this big power revolutionary change planet, going back and forth between Taurus and Aries, and that's a big part of what makes 2018 a transition year. We're getting ready to step into a new world. We have to build a new world. When Uranus was in Aries for the last 7-8 years, it was coming up in a square with Pluto in Capricorn again and again. Pluto in Capricorn is death, rebirth, change, transformation of the structures of our reality, our political structures, our personal belief systems, everywhere, our authoritarian structures in the world. And so it's like breakdown. And Uranus in Aries was about this revolution of the self. Who are we, humanity? Can we stand up for who we really are? Can we take our planet back? Can we live the way we want to live as humans in our living, breathing Mother Earth? Now, Uranus moving into Taurus is saying, okay, build this new world. Right? So we've had some energetic shifts, massive energetic shifts, but this is what happens. Changes happen first in the energetic field and then manifest in the physical world. So we have not yet seen the changes that have been, really manifested. We're starting to feel this, and it can feel a little unsettling, a little bit of like rumbling in deep internal rumbling as Uranus begins to make this transition, especially because right when it makes this transition on May 15th, it comes into a square with Mars as Mars moves into Aquarius. Mars is taking a retrograde in Aquarius in 2018. And so there's a tension here between moving forward in this Aquarian age and the changes that need to happen in our physical reality, the Taurus rules the senses, like what we feel and sense, our physical world, our stability, financial energies, and home, and our body, and the earth. So we're having a revolution now in our 3D reality. So this can be really intense. And part of the message coming through right now is that if you felt disrupted in your life, if life has been intense, you've been kind of trying to deal with things, and you've had this last period of time has been very disruptive, then you could find some real grounding, some real centeredness in this time of Uranus and Taurus. But if your structures have not yet been challenged, then you are going to have probably some shaking up in the structures. Uranus brings this shaking up, breaking up energy because it wants to bring in the new. It wants to bring positive change. It wants to bring energy that's helpful for everyone, for the whole. And it's kind of breaking up the systems, the way we've done things, and bringing in fresh energy. This is really good. It's for healing. But in the time that it's happening, it can feel like everything's falling apart and breaking away. Now, this last period of time we've been in, that falling apart and breaking away has been in our sense of identity. So if you're at a place in your life where you don't know what the heck is going on, and you don't know who you are, and you don't know why you're here on the planet, but you kind of, you know you're here for a reason, but your kind of whole life is in confusion because what you thought you wanted to do or who you were isn't really who you are, then Uranus and Aries worked for you. And Uranus and Taurus is going to be a time to build new structures in your life. And that's kind of part of the energy now, and also this collective identity revolution. Who are we, humanity? And we're kind of reeling from this. So this 2018 is so intense. It's got beautiful, beautiful transits helping us along, but it's also got this energy of going back and forth between the new earth, the new world, and the old paradigms, and breaking those paradigms down so we can move in to the new. So Taurus is about the body, the physical senses, the feeling senses, the feeling comfort. It's ruled by Venus. Taurus energy is about wanting to feel stable and secure and comforted and have what you need in the world as far as physical resources. So it rules our finances, it rules our physical body, it rules the planet, and it also rules security, stability, financials, and things, and our reaction to our surroundings. Taurus being so sensitive, it's an earth sign. So the disruption, the revolution is coming to the earth. It's not about the earth itself having disruptive changes. That's not what needs to occur. But the patterns of us humans on the earth, that's what really needs to change. Uranus is coming in to shake up all of the stuck patterns that we have. Now, this is the deal here, is that Taurus is the most stable sign. It wants stability. It wants to feel safe. So it's going to go with the status quo, okay? Because it's Earth, which is stable. It's like the 3D manifestation of manifested reality. And it's a fixed sign, meaning that it is a sign that is a finisher, a completer, and maybe it's like fixed signs have a tendency to stay fixed in patterns. So Taurus really likes security and things staying the same and the status quo and making sure that all the ducks are in the row and you have everything you need. But we've seen from our world that that's not the way things are right now. We're being massively challenged on what is security and resources and what is the truth of who we really are and what's our real resource. So this is part of the magic of this Uranus and Taurus, is realizing that we have a value, an intrinsic value within our being, in our energetic field as humans, that actually brings way more security than having all of your, bills paid in your cars and your house and all that stuff like that. It brings security on one level. But we're going to be analyzing and opening up to a new level of security based on the electricity in our body, the electricity of the earth. So what that really means is free energy. So Uranus is in Taurus until 2026, and I'm thinking we are going to find out and see and have big shifts in our electrical, the earth and its electrical, our relationship to electricity, understanding that the corporations took the technology and decided to make sure that it had to go through wires, even though it's not necessary at all. Electricity just exists in the universe for us to take advantage of. It exists in our body, and sold it to us so that they can, keep us in a place of, our whole economy goes back to energy. And so what happens if we have free energy? Because it does exist and it's fully available, going back to, the technology that Nikola Tesla brought forward that was misused, owned, taken, construed by the corporate conglomerate control energy on the planet. So, wow, this is a big shifting change because we're going to find out about our electricity. So when we find out about our access to electricity and free energy devices, that we all have a little box in our house that powers everything we need, then our financial systems are going to have to change. And of course, we're already feeling this. You know, Uranus and Taurus brings disruption, revolution, and for positive change, but it's kind of like the chaos that brings the change, you know, the storm that brings the calm afterwards and the cleansing of the air. Uranus is like a lightning bolt. And so that energy is like, whoa, in that flash of lightning, you see realizations, you feel the energy, the air changes. And this is what's trying to happen on our earth and in our body, is electromagnetic changes where we see the true worth, a total change in our value system. Because if we don't know our access to our own energy, then of course we're going to be dependent on outside resources to keep us feeling safe. But there's a new level of security available to us in this Uranus and Taurus period of time, a spiritual security, an energetic security, that we have what we need in our energetic field, and we can care for ourselves and tend for ourselves as co-creators of the universe. So this Taurus energy is going to affect health systems, body, earth, finances. It's our core value system, what we really care about, what really matters to us. And so we're having disruption energy come in to all of these places where we're having fixed, so you can really see this in the world, like political and financial changes that are trying to take place. And there are forces that are holding tight to these systems and the way they've been, because that's how we do things. This is exactly a metaphor for the way we, are bogged down by societal and ancestral conditioning in our life. It's like holding on to what you know because that feels safe. And even though it might not be healthy, at least you know it, right? And you're used to it. And that's kind of the danger of the Taurus energy. So Uranus coming in is kind of like rattling your cage. It's a good thing, because Uranus brings light, insight, and fairness, and equality, and individual strength and uniqueness, celebrating uniqueness. So we're having this breakup and disruption and electrical energy and radical shifts in the status quo and our physical bodies, which is good, because we need to evolve and cleanse and heal and respect and honor the earth and our body. That is an opportunity here coming from this disruption. And also our core values, what really matters to us. So it's like we went through this Aries time. Who are we? That was a revolution. Who are we, and what was the point, and what are we doing, and what's the point of existence, and can I be who I really am? And then now implementing that into reality. So Aries is like the planting of the seed and the sprout. It's the energy that it takes to create form to begin with. Taurus is building the form. It's where the plant goes into a more stable place, right? Where it built, like at first the little sprout is a little bit like, fragile. And then Taurus is building that sprout into a plant that can handle a lot more. And that's a beautiful analogy for what we're trying to do here in building this new earth, this new world. So we talked about how Uranus is going back and forth this year between Taurus and back into Aries. And so we're in this transition, and it can feel like one foot in one world, one foot in the other world, but it's really good, because it's like we haven't quite completed those lessons of Uranus and Aries. We need to make sure that we have let go of the forms of our identity that are no longer serving us, and let that revolution of that. So that's that uncomfortable place. In order to move into building your new world and your new life and this new earth reality, like, you've got to be willing to let go of what you thought you were and who you thought you were. And that's what this 2018 is about. And so we're really feeling the culmination of that Pluto-Uranus square that defined the last 7-8 years of our reality. Now, when Pluto and Uranus came together in the 60s in a conjunction, that happened, the changes that occurred because of that, the social changes, the energetic changes, the new wave of music and art and consciousness and equality, all that, those social changes did not come until years after the Uranus-Pluto conjunction. So now this Uranus-Pluto square, we are in this phase right now, and that's a lot what this Uranus moving into Taurus is about. It's like, okay, let's bring these energetic shifts in our reality home to earth and let's see them. Let's get some solutions going on. Let's build this new planet based on that breakdown, throwdown, dissolving of our structures of our reality that Pluto-Uranus square has been challenging us. And breaking down of the structures of our life that are no longer serving our true self, who we really are, who we really want to be, not according to what our ancestry or the society tells us we need to be, but who we really are in our own true self, individually and collectively. Humanity is going through a massive awakening transition. So going back and forth between this revolution of the self, sense of self, who we are, our permission for freedom, and then Taurus, which is about the revolution in our stability, what makes us feel safe, what are our value systems, in also this changes in the physical world. So that's kind of the deal going on, is that Uranus is about change. Uranus is revolutionary, generational change, radical shifts, quick change. Uranus brings energy of changes that are like, whoa, what just happened there? Okay, on to the new. Like, you don't even have time to resist it, which is kind of cool, because Taurus, see, it's really interesting, these planets, this configuration, because Taurus is the most fixed, most stable, most wanting to hold on to the status quo energy in astrology, and Uranus is the biggest change maker. And so oil and water, right? Like, they don't really go together, but it's kind of cool because, first of all, we've been prepped. We're ready for these earth changes. We're ready for our physical reality to fall away where it's not serving us anymore. And that disruption might come as a refreshing kind of fresh air feeling in people's life. This Uranus and Taurus, it's like, oh yeah, finally I can shake loose these pattern structures, relationships, jobs that aren't serving, and build something new and fresh that's good for me, better for me and who I really am, but also the suddenness, I'm kind of feeling like this Uranus, the suddenness, that it has this unexpected energy. And of course Taurus loves the expected, wants that stability, to know what's going to happen and how things usually are and all that. And Uranus is, of course, the opposite energy. But the cool thing about it, where Pluto would brings this energy of like, it's change, but it's big, explosive, and it's slow. And Uranus is like, bam, lightning, and it's like your world is new. And that's actually a really good energy for Taurus, because Taurus doesn't have time to hold on, right? So it's like we're being shown in this next period of time where we're holding on to structures in our life, belief systems, the status quo, where it's not in service to who we really are and our core values. Because Taurus is ruled by Venus, and that's our values, what we value, how we value ourselves, our self-worth. And so it's a really powerful energy of breaking new ground. That's what Uranus is about. And it's in this, now moving into a sign of the earth and breaking new ground in our value system and what we really care about, and having a revolution there. So the effect of this is kind of like the stability, we kind of talked about this, but what makes you feel safe and stable now, or in the past, it's like maybe it's changing, right? And so your stability comes from a different source. Say maybe like you were very dependent on outside sources, and now you're ready to have your own independence, your own financial security, your own sense of self-worth, and your own way in the world. That's one way this could play out, but it's like, what makes you feel secure? Maybe that relationship made you feel secure, but it's not really appropriate anymore, so it's not making you feel secure anymore. And freedom or time by yourself might make you feel more secure, or vice versa. Like having your independence was your security, and now you're finding yourself opening up to a new home life, a new structure, new situations. And that's a lot of this energy. The change is coming to our home life, our body, our physical reality. And so it means different things for different people, but definitely challenging our sense of stability and security. And what is that? What really gives us stability? And that's where we get this spiritual revolution, right? So Uranus is this spiritual energy coming in from above, insight and revelation. And so that's coming in to our earth realm, to our 3D reality. So the real energy of this Uranus and Taurus is about a spiritualization of the physical world. And a picture that kind of fits this is like, a lot of people talk about how we have like higher dimensional earths, and then we have the earth that we're on, and we're trying to join them. And that's exactly a picture that can kind of work with this energy. Like our spiritual reality of true earth, of new earth, of the living, breathing Gaia, of like the potential that we have if we could really steward our planet. There's new ideas and new ways of stewarding our planet coming in with this Uranus and Taurus, which I think will be very refreshing and beautiful for a lot of people who have been frustrating and hurting around how we're treating the planet and our relationship to the planet. And people who are sensitive in their collective energy, or earth steward souls, it's very painful. It can be hard to exist on this planet while people are being so disrespectful to our living, breathing earth. And so there's this joining of the spiritual earth and the physical earth, bringing together timelines and vibrational frequencies, getting us on our new track, and what this means is also the falling away of negative control energies, those disruptive, forces that want to destroy our beautiful planet and that kind of thing. And it's like, it's completely possible. It brings me back to free energy. It's completely possible for us to totally live harmoniously, all of us on the planet. And we have the technology available. It just hasn't been shared with us yet. And, to be able to solve all these solutions and live harmoniously and beautifully and in this great communication with Mother Earth Gaia, where we're not feeling like we're raping her or killing her. And Taurus ruling the earth, ruling the physical, there's these issues are going to be coming up, and there could be some really great disruptive change around that. And definitely, going back to free energy, if we have free energy, then a lot of the destruction that we've been happening to the earth is no longer necessary. So beautiful shifts available from this transit on that level. And so this is an opportunity for us. What this Uranus and Taurus is really about is joining the spiritual world and the physical world, spiritualizing the earth. Spirituality in the past has kind of been seen of like, okay, I'm going to go meditate, I'm going to go journey, I'm going to go get off of the earth so I can experience the spiritual world. And it's a very profound time that we're living in right now, where what we're doing is actually bringing the cosmic light. That's what humans, their true evolution, our true evolutionary potential is about, embodying the light, allowing the cosmic energy to exist, recognizing it and fostering it in our own being, and also in the planet. Like, we're literally taking the physical world and spiritualizing it. And that is what this Uranus and Taurus is really about on a bigger evolutionary picture. And basically, that's where we're at right now in this kind of transition, right? It's like we have 1 foot in new earth and 1 foot in old earth, and these old paradigms. So the old paradigms are coming up in our individual life and collectively of like, oh, this structure isn't working, but I'm so used to it and I'm so safe in it. And then Uranus comes along and goes, bam, okay, guess I'm on to the next thing, right? And helping us to just rattle our cage a little bit to get out of that conditioning that's holding us back from moving into this exciting new possibilities on planet Earth. So, a big energy that's been the biggest message coming through in my meditations on this transit is that this period of time of Uranus and Taurus is about light workers, star seeds, very advanced souls. That there's so many of us on the planet right now, but we have been existing off of the planet. We've been partially incarnated. We've been operating on, not enough cylinders in a way. We don't have our energetic system set up. We don't have permission within our being to fully incarnate our light, and so it's like this. All of these indigo souls and crystal seeds are like here, but they're not, they're kind of floating above the planet, just getting by, just kind of going through life, kind of being like, well, I know that there's something bigger going on, but I'm just in the dark and I'm clueless and I don't know what's going on. What's the point of all of this? And, I'm just living my life in this strange earth experience, until it's over, right? Because I don't know what, this is a weird world and I can't quite bring my light in, and I can't, the structures aren't available for us to really incarnate and be present on the earth. So the revolution of Uranus and Taurus is light workers coming home to the earth, like literally landing here in their full 100% potential. And so that is part of that transition. Like for some people, Uranus is going to bring a lot of stability in this physical world, right? So it's almost like I'm seeing two different types of people, and there's people who find stability in the physical world, and that stability is going to be threatened as an opportunity to find spiritual stability. There's people who have way more stability in the spiritual world and totally flailing in 3D reality. That might get easier, more grounded, more opportunities to be who you really are in your spiritual expression here on planet Earth, right here, right now, in present time. So a great opportunity for bringing into this 3D reality who we really are, light workers, coming into a full incarnation. And so some of this energy is about, like, Taurus literally represents the seen world, like what we can see, feel, and touch. Uranus is the unseen world and the unseen information and energy and electricity. And so we're joining those together, and it's bringing a new consciousness to the earth, and it's bringing unseen energies in a way that we can see them. And that's so important, really. That's a lot of the reason why lightworkers, indigo souls, have not been able to fully incarnate, because they feel like if they do, they're going to lose who they really are. They're going to become cold and dead and hard like the other people around them, and they're going to lose their sensitivity, and they can't. It's like if they're fully here on the planet, they're going to feel everything, and then they're going to have to shut down. And it's like now we're this transition period on the planet is like unseen forces coming into a way that we can see them and understand them. So regular everyday reality, people in consciousness having a more spiritual consciousness in our everyday reality. So that is going to bring forward a new stewardship of the earth, like we talked about, just like free energy, a new way to relate to the planet. It's okay to come and be here because we're ready to take care of our home and love our home and be in this beautiful synergistic communication with earth and this evolution, and have this great journey towards sustainability and fairness and equality. And so those are the changes that are available, a whole new way of stewarding the earth and seeing the earth as an energetic body, seeing ourselves as energy, and seeing the cosmos as energy, as electricity, right? And our relationship to electricity right now is something you go through wires and you plug in and you pay for, and your service gets cut off if you don't pay for it. And it's like, no, we're like electric. Everything is electric, and everything has this vibrational nature that's where the true value in this world lies. And we've been told a lot of lies about that. And so a lot of this is going to come to the surface of energetic reality, manifested or understood in our physical world. So you can see how this energy could be very disruptive, because the patterns, the control energies, the powers that be on the planet want to keep us as slaves, and we're comfortable as slaves, You know, we're like, cool, as long as I've got my iPhone and, you know, everything, I'm just going to go ahead and live my life and just get through and it's fine, you know. And when we come more into these truths of our energetic reality, then we're going to be able to claim that freedom. So this is really interesting because Uranus and Aries is about that personal self, that sense of self, that freedom. And Uranus loves freedom. Aquarius is all about freedom too. And it's freedom for all of us, freedom energetically and psychically. And so coming into this earth sign, it's about freeing the earth out of this prison, you know, of material reality, of this money magic system that's keeping us all in poverty consciousness and lower vibrational frequency, and the grid that's energetic grid that's keeping us in lower vibrational frequency. That's going to break free, you know. Uranus and Taurus is not going to allow us to continue in our evolution in a false manifested reality. We're going to move into this new earth energy, higher dimensional frequencies, where we understand we're a part of this electrical experience, energetic electrical experience. And so this new awareness of electricity. And of course, Uranus rules the internet and information, and this kind of equality energy that, like, the internet gives us this ability to all access, you know. And that's going to be a lot of issues coming forward around maintaining access for everyone on the internet, and freedom of speech on the internet, and open channels of communication, that's our birthright, that we all have a level playing field. And that's what the disruption of Uranus really wants to bring: equality and justice. And so that's kind of what's going on. And so we're having a disruption of all the unhealthy patterns. So we've had that kind of tension breakdown with that Pluto-Uranus square. And now that Uranus is moving into Taurus, we're going to have those real physical world changes happening. And so we're breaking down the status quo, shaking up the things that are no longer serving the truth of who we really are. And so it can feel sudden, and it can feel, like we said, disruptive. It can also feel like very relieving, and clearing away, the clutter, and clearing away all of the old stories and all the old conditioning. So we talked about how Venus is the ruler of Taurus. And so we're talking about, in Taurus, one of the big concepts is self-worth, and our value system, what we value, but also how we value ourselves. And Uranus is bringing in a total higher octave experience of self-worth. So this is really beautiful, especially for, like we said, the light workers that have not been able to fully inhabit the earth. Maybe a lot of past life programming about, your healing, your harmony, your problem solving. We don't want that here on planet Earth, right? So there's a lot of like an intrinsic sense of low self-worth in the powerful light worker healers. That's programmed into our reality from past life setup and programming. And so what this Uranus and Taurus is bringing a higher vibrational energy to our self-worth, like we talked about, like true security, that our security comes from knowing who we are, as that we're spiritual beings in a physical body. And because it's like all of the security that we stack up around us in this physical world, it doesn't get to go with us when we leave, And so what does get to go with us? What's our true security? It's our true embodiment of light, enlightenment, what we're here for. This is like the Buddha energy light coming down, streaming to earth, and take it if you're ready. And so a huge opportunity for enlightenment and a spiritual self-worth. That who I am, and it's interesting because it's like the people who have been rewarded in our world in this last thousands of years have been the people who are cutthroat. They're willing to fight and kill for what they want and take what's other people's. And that's who we give our power to, right? And so this new self-worth is based on your spiritual. What are the gifts we really take with us? Because we can't take with us our cars and our houses and all the things we've accumulated in this life. We don't get to take those. We don't get to take our physical body, but we don't die. So what do we take? We take our spiritual attributes. We take our karmic work we've done. We take our gifts and abilities. That's what we bring with us. And so That's the deal with these light workers. They all have huge amount of gifts that they worked through. Many evolutions, many lifetimes have come here specifically to be a part of this consciousness shift, to guide the way, to hold energy, to be the light and show what's possible. And so can you value that? Right? Like this new sense of self-worth has to do with our spiritual reality, that out there information that Uranus represents. And so when we can see the value of our soul's evolution and what we've accomplished, to be sensitive people, to be intuitive people, to care and love and have compassion, this is a revolution. You know, it's a revolution of compassion on the planet, of being like, wow, you know, this has so much self-worth. These are the people that need to be exalted and rewarded in our world, that we want to follow and support, not the criminals. Like, who gave them the power anyway? Like, this is where the power lies. The power lies within our being, in our electrical universe, our electrical reality, and our spiritual evolution, and our sensitivity, and our healing abilities, all the things we got persecuted for in past lives. That's our true value. And so can we come back to a place of valuing that? And Uranus and Taurus is going to disrupt everywhere where we're not valuing ourselves. And that's going to be really good. That's why I think for light workers, Uranus and Taurus could be very stabilizing. For people who have been in denial of spiritual shift and changes, it might be disruptive in your life. You know, so it's a very different experience that's happening here. And so it's a powerful energy, a powerful opportunity. You can feel the big shifting energy. And then of course 2018, so it's going to be till November that Uranus is in Taurus. Then it's going to retrograde. It's in retrograde, turns retrograde, and it's going to go turns retrograde in August, on August 7th, and then it's going to go back into Aries on November 6th. It's going to turn direct on January 6th, 2019. So that's interesting because it's like such a big, 2018 is a very shifting year. It's a harmonizing, shifting, adjustment year. And you can see right away, and we're going to move into a whole new energy in January. In March 6th of 2019 is when Uranus will move into Taurus for good, or for until 2025, 2026. So we're in this time of going back and forth between exercising our right and our freedom and the revolution in our sense of self. Who are we? What are we doing? What's the point? And into Taurus, building this new world, allowing our new self-worth to come in, allowing ourselves to come down, plant roots, be here, grow the new earth, be a part of this beautiful experience of what this life really should be. And so we're kind of going back and forth between these activations, and these energies are very, very different. You know, Aries is fire, it's quick, it's freedom, it's self-expression, it's Mars, it's a fight. And then Taurus is ruled by Venus. It's sweet and loving and calm and nurturing and trying to be safe and feel like you have what you need. So, you know, we're going back and forth between these energies, and it's really good to see this. Now, May is going to be a powerful month with that Mars in Aquarius squaring up with this Uranus moving into Taurus, saying, how do we build? What do we need to do to build this new age, this age of Aquarius, to build this new earth? How do we move forward in this new, completely new territory? And that tension is going to give us a precursor energy. It's like, bam, the Uranus energy. Uranus doesn't come like without a party, right? It's like, bam, I'm here, right? Like we are feeling this Uranus and Taurus, and then kind of adjusting to it, and then having a little bit more time in Aries, and then next spring really moving into this energy. But we're getting a big flash of lightning precursor jolt in May of 2018 that's showing us what this is really going to be about. So pay attention, because you're going to get a lot of information. Uranus rules out there information, insight, and there's a lot of information, insights available, and where your structured reality, where your stability, your self-worth needs to be adjusted and changed. And you can start on that path, so that this Uranus and Aries can be a harmonizing, grounding, beautiful transition for you energetically, rather than a disruptive, kind of tumultuous situation. The point of Uranus is to bring back harmony, to bring back calm, to bring back fairness, to bring back what's best for all of us. And so keep in mind that the changes that are happening are clearing the slate, clearing the air, the flash of lightning, bringing those negative ions that help us feel better in our electromagnetic field, right? Like flashing us back to a positive vibration, to a connection to the earth and to the electricity of the earth. The earth is not a rock. The earth is a living, breathing, electrical, magnetic, magical system, just like we are in our bodies and the whole universe. And now, finally, with Uranus and Taurus, we're going to be shown how this energy is available to all of us through the free energy, and also through understanding our electromagnetic field and what's really available for us, humanity, as we move into this new age. So thank you so much for being here and being a part of it. And I hope that you enjoy some really great grounding and stabilizing in your life, and willingness and support to bring your light here to planet Earth, because we need you, and that's why you're here, and together we can do this. So until next time, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.